Okay.
Chargers punched early, Steelers punched often, pretty much.
Yep.
That's the way I view this game.
Mm-hmm.
And
unfortunately, we got a bunch of injuries that put us in a very bad spot right out of the gate, and it just could not recover. So not good. And there we go. That's exactly it. I'd say it, man. I mean, look, hey, it's hard to win when you're, all-star left tackle, all-pro left tackle, and soon to be all-pro right tackle are out, and then
potentially, his chances of getting offensive rookie of the year completely down the drain now. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we don't know how bad the injury is yet, so we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, guys.
Like
so
he got really
lots to unpack. Yep, lots to unpack, guys. So let's.
What's up, Premier, man? You watching the Boat Bros podcast. Stay tuned.
Charter blue dreams, stadium lights gleam. Boat Bros on the beat, lead stream. Chargers rocking speeds, Sonic supreme. From the podcast to the field, we're a team. Charged up, Boat Bros on the night. LA Thunder in electric delight. Bolts in the battle, sparking bright. Charged up, ride the lightning, feel the fright.
Woo, yeah. Well, guys, it was not exciting, folks. I'll say that. We definitely did not bolt up, I guess is the right word for it, right?
Bolted down. I mean, like I said,
we bolted down. We bolted down.
There you go.
That's what we need to blue chew. We need to blue chew so we can bolt up, not bolt down. We can't be bolted down, guys. That don't work. That don't work. Don't worry,
man. And like I said, it was
perfect. By the way, that was
yeah, the whistle was perfect. The thing is, though, once again, it was the Steelers were putting more punches out there than us. I mean, we were punching early, but we got beat later on, and we beat ourselves up pretty much. I mean, literally in the literal sense. Not good.
No blue chews were taken during this game. Again, blue chew before, blue chew at halftime. Okay. And then you got to come down, you got to be bolted up twice, right? Beginning of the game, mid game, we got bolted. No, but look, guys, look, at the end of the day, I would say, I think this is more an attrition of players on the Chargers side than necessarily the Steelers 100% beating us, right? Because you can make the argument, again, agree or disagree with me, guys. As soon as Rashawn Slater went down, obviously Herbert went down, and then it was Joel went down, and then it was like, okay, Tyler Hennick is in. It just seemed like at that moment we were just like, all right, game's over, guys, but the injuries are just hard to overcome, right? That's kind of my take. And don't get me wrong, say what you want to say. The Steelers played great. They did fine. They played their brand of football, but after the third quarter, those injuries happened. It was pretty much a wrap. I just,
Well, I will say the point that I started seeing the chinks in the armor, if you want to say, was that drive late in the third when the defense had 3 penalties that essentially kept that drive alive for them.
There we go. That was the death blow. Yep. That
pretty much shifted everything at that point. I mean, that was literally just mistake after mistake after mistake. The Asante PI was a little bit iffy.
Yeah, that was a little
ticky-tacky. The late hit by Mac. Yeah, I could see that. And then
that seemed a little weak to me too, because he was getting kind of pushed into him.
Sure.
I don't know.
Sure.
It didn't.
And then the Derwin hit, once
was
again,
a little weak too. Yeah.
But I mean, Derwin, that was his fault last year. I mean, he kept hitting and leading and hitting people in the head, and that's that drive right there. After we got a pick that could have been the game-changing type situation, that shifted the entire game, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a good point, James. Yeah, that right then completely. And I think didn't Herbert get hurt on that drive as well? No, I'm sorry. Was it the drive before or was it the drive after? I can't remember now.
I want to say it was the drive before that
okay.
happened. And then it kind of shifted from that point. It just started crumbling from that point. So pretty bad.
Just like it was just straight up like dominoes. Just
Yep.
first one went down, next one went down, then just.
Yep.
You know, and Herbert didn't have a bad game. Look at that, 12 for 18. You know, and
yeah, he
if
was
the
on
guy
par
can
for
stay
a really
healthy,
good game.
God's sakes, man. And just now we play the Queefs next week, which is frustrating. Now we got Justin Fields. Justin Fields did great. I asked this question. If we have any Steeler fans out there, is old Russell even going to even play? I mean, I would play Fields, in my opinion. I don't think I'd play.
At this point, it's got to be Fields. You know, like he's earned his spot now. You know.
I think so.
And I basically said in preseason, you play Russell, you're not going to have a good season. If you're going to play Fields, you have a chance.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Fields is a much better player. He's got way younger legs to be able to work with too. Russell is a straight statue, cannot scramble at all anymore. I mean,
he's a bitch.
Yeah, I guess so. And he had a Subway sandwich called the Danger Witch.
Yeah,
and that was the freakiest commercial of all time.
No, he's a danger bitch. That's what he is. He's a danger bitch. Danger bitch.
Aren't all Subway sandwiches dangerous though? Like that?
Yeah,
I mean, it's like
Scrubway, dude. Scrubway.
Scrubway.
Ain't nobody want to eat a Scrubway, dude. No one eats a Scrubway. Come on. So J.K. Dobbins, you know, was hammed up. And look, you have to give it to the defense. Their defense was great. They did a great job. And, you know, but again, I think given if we were healthy, if we didn't have 3 major injuries, I think things could have been different at the end.
Right.
But, you know, that's just how it goes. That's football, guys. And Quentin looked good out there. Hey, Quentin, guys, looked good.
That's right.
Great touchdown.
You know, but I think missing Palmer was a bummer too. I think Palmer would have been a bit of a different as well.
One thing I noticed a lot early downs in the early part of the game, Will Dissly always gets a catch. It's almost like the same kind of situation, kind of sitting in the middle of the field, always gets a catch and does a pretty good job. It's funny how Will Dissly was not really being utilized as a pass catcher with the Seahawks. And to be honest, he seems like he's one of our better tight ends at this point. He's doing a pretty good job, man. So it's pretty good to see.
Pretty good comment there, Miguel. I like that. I had to highlight that one. That's a good one. But
the thing, DJ with that helmet hit, man, he still kind of likes to lead pretty much high, I guess, if you want to say up to helmet hits, and that kind of really killed a lot of that drive, man. That drive was a pretty
ticky-tack call, in my opinion, guys. Like I could kind of understand it, but I'm like, come on, dude. You know, I don't know. I thought that was pretty weak. I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat? I thought it was pretty weak.
It was a straight shot to the helmet. So, I mean, helmet to helmet, regardless, is going to be called.
Yeah, but it wasn't a straight shot to the helmet.
Any little touches to the helmet, and it's instantly, blah, you know.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've seen some of those funny memes or reels that people make where, like, it's like the defensive player, like running towards Patrick Mahomes, and then they purposely move because they see the ref, like, got the flag out, like, ready to go.
Ready to go,
yeah.
Good point.
So,
but Dayon, Denzel, Fulton, dude, these guys are playing great. And it is a bummer that Junior Colson's out. He had a hamstring injury. So I think it was, Troy Dye was out there quite a bit.
Yep.
Man, but these injuries are starting to pile up, and it'd be really interesting to see how banged up we're going to be versus the Queefs next week. I mean, DJ, 1 sack. We got Khalil Mack got a sack. We only got 2 sacks. And that interception by Bud Dupree, pretty interesting.
Yep.
So
that one, Khalil Mack, that was a good thing though. You know, got another sack. Like he's well over 100. You know, like I'm glad that TJ Watt did not get the 100th one on us though.
Yeah,
interesting with J.K. Scott, right? 7 punts, 50-yard average, and 3 in the 20.
I think he did good. I think he did good. I think he punted really well this game.
Yeah. So. Well, because we brought in a punter last week, didn't we?
Yeah.
Or this week, I should say.
Yeah.
So you got to wonder if that gives him enough, chutzpah to be fine. But boy,
chutzpah.
It's gonna be real interesting to see what happens with. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens with Herbert and Henneke this next week.
So I would actually pose a question to everybody in the chat. Based upon the way that you saw Justin Herbert walking around, and I mean, the play before I think he went out, I was like, he seems pretty ginger on his right, foot. Something's not right there. Him hobbling off and going to the sidelines. What do you think the chances of him playing next week is? Like,
who he's on?
In my opinion,
Herbert.
Yeah, I think he made it it could have been from a grade 1 kind of situation to a potential grade 2 or 3 at this point.
Yeah, like, at this point for sure. Like obviously that he should take it off. Just forget it. Like, let's just basically forfeit this game next week. Because I would rather him playing in December, October, at the end of the season, than right now. Let's let him rest next week. Give him a bye week as well to rest, and then we'll start cooking again after the bye.
Yeah. Well, and again, you can overcome these injuries, hopefully, right? But again, what happened to? I mean, look, we haven't talked about Rashawn Slater's out.
Yep.
Joe Alt went out. Okay,
yep.
And our offensive line was paper at that point. I mean, it was dude.
Yep.
Henneke had no time to even do anything,
no.
And so whatever the backup plan was, of course, you don't. What kind of backup plan can you get when your two best tackles, are out, right?
Right.
That's a little hard to overcome, and so then I think it became a little bit of a worry of other people getting hurt as well, right? All right, we're done. Let's just move on. It's unfortunate. So,
yep.
We got to see how that happens, right? I mean, like, what happened to Rashawn? What happened to Joe Alt? I think for the most part, he did fine against TJ Watt. I don't think Watt got one sack, maybe. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he got it after Alt was already gone.
No, he got one with Alt.
Didn't he?
He got one with Alt. Yeah. Herbert, this guy got 2.
Yeah,
I think he got one with. No, both of those. Rashawn Slater was out.
Yep.
So that's my point, right? So I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, do I think the Steelers play great? Yes, but I also think these 3 sacks right here happened because, we'd had some issues, right? So
right. And I mean, the thing is, Hightower came out for that game, and Herbig basically came in for him and actually played pretty well. And the interesting thing, if you start thinking about the schedule ahead, like, once again, I've kind of been looking at the bye week as like, all right, that's got to be the get right, get healthy type week for us at that point. I absolutely hate that we got a chance that we're probably going to go 2-2 now going into the bye week. And that frustrates me, because how many seasons have we started out thinking, hey, you know what? I think the first 4 we could go 3-1 or 4-0, and then we're going to end up just going 500 into it type of thing. Like, it's a frustrating situation at this point, because, like, I mean, at this point, I'm a little bit more down on this team, because especially if you don't have your tackles. Like, if Alt's not there, Slater had a pec injury. Pec injury is never good for a tackle, ever.
Yep.
That's could be like a very, very long or potential out for the season kind of situation. Yeah. I mean, it gets hard from this point without having those tackles. Like, it gets very, very difficult, especially to how this offense works. It's a run type of defense. It's a very physical type or offense. Yep. And they want to ground and pound, and they couldn't ground and pound this game at all.
Yeah. It is. Rashawn Slater's a pectoral muscle, Herbert ankle. Okay.
Yep.
So hopefully it's not terrible. Remember Rashawn Slater went out because of a torn bicep.
Yep.
Yeah. Not too long ago. Yeah. It was like, what was it?
Well,
2 years ago?
2 years ago.
That was 2021, I believe it was.
Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe just hope it's a sprain.
Yeah.
But look at that total yards though. The Chargers. Wait, here. Let's go back to this. The total team stats. There we go. Let me show this. Oof. Team stats. Look at that.
Yep,
that's abysmal.
Not good.
But again, it was the first half, right? Pretty much, and then after that, after Herbert was out, it was just kind of done.
Well, we had like negative yards in the second half, essentially.
Yeah. I think we did
backwards, literally.
And we had 7 punts, and the penalties killed us.
7 penalties.
Time 69,
dude.
69.
69, dude.
Hey, let's try to make a negative a positive, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right. But again, look, at the end of the day, the defense still stepped up. The defense still looked physical. They did fine. It's just unfortunate that offensively we struggled. Now, it's going to be very interesting to see who actually starts next week. I hoping Herbert could go, but boy, If you got Rashawn Slater out and you got Joe All out, boy, that's going to be a rough one. So, we'll see how they. Miguel was talking about Gus the Bus. Should we bench him? The one thing that they said about Gus a lot is that he takes the really hard yards, and the approach with him is he's such a big guy. He's coming downhill and just being physical at the point of attack, right? So he's the hammer, right?
Sure.
And JC is more like the nail. Wait, does that make sense? Yeah, the nail.
Nail in the coffin.
JK's more like the nail. He's the hammer. He's the nail. Yeah, you get what I'm saying, right?
I think JK is more like the drill, and he's the hammer.
He's the
drill and the hammer.
I don't know.
Someone in the chat, would you help us out with this analogy?
A drill is actually getting in there better, like the hammer. Like they're both types of things that push stuff into the hole. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Chat, why don't you help us out with that analogy? I really appreciate that.
Yeah. It doesn't work out well. But hey, Marty Ball threw out a super chat. $1.99. Thank you, my friend. We'll make the playoffs, boys. I guarantee it. And once again, guys,
I think that's a good point too, though.
We got it's a long season ahead. Like this is only week 3. I mean, we got plenty of games ahead here at this point, guys. But Marty Ball, thank you so much for the super chat. We got a lot of games still to play. The thing is, though, at this point, it's about trying to make sure that we're healthy to be able to even get to the playoffs at this point. So that's the big worry that I have.
Well, and clearly, this is where the depth is going to matter. Now, for our channel, though, this might be a good thing because with all these injuries, you might see some pickups, right? You might be able to see some players get picked up, right? So,
right.
Very curious to see how that's going to play out. So you might see some interesting scoop ups, right?
Well, I think I predict some really big news like this week is that Bosa is going to announce his retirement. Because
what is going on with that guy, dude? When he's healthy, he's unstoppable. He's great. He's great. But what the hell is going on?
Well, and it's funny because he had a back issue coming into this game, and now he has a hip issue coming into this game. It's like it constantly kind of keeps projecting out an injury after another injury that leads to another injury or whatnot. Like it's frustrating to watch that. It's very, very frustrating to watch that. Oh. And SoFi, I don't think we're going to be at SoFi. I for sure will not be at SoFi. I'll be in a plane going to Japan. So, sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, did you hear that? Did you hear that low key flex from James right there? I'll be in Japan. Hey, what's up? Yeah. Sushi and shit. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, man.
Hey, what's up?
Constellation Pegasus, and appreciate it for the $9.99. I didn't watch the game, but how did Herbert get hurt? Now, it's just an aggravated ankle. Actually, Hayward kind of fell on it while he was coming after him, basically to a sack. I was telling him, I was chatting my buddy who's a Steelers fan saying, hey, Hayward's dirty once again. Because remember what he did last time? He kicked Herbert when he was on the
dirty
ground.
Once again.
So he's like, why is he dirty? Well, he landed on Herbert's ankle this time. He hates Herbert for some reason.
That's right.
He landed on his bow. Fell down on it. Yeah. And again, the ankle injuries are really hard to come back from, right? I mean, bottom line, you got to throw the ball. You got to, it's just tough, man. Yeah. And it's thank you so much again. Definitely thank you so much for the super chat.
So, well, I was going to say though, my point for Bosa though, is he needs to start thinking about his health after football. I mean, if he doesn't retire soon, he's going to be living the rest of his life in a wheelchair. And that's, I wouldn't want to see that happen. Shoot, man.
Yeah, it's a hard thing, man. I mean,
he's bow-legged.
Yeah.
I always thought that as well too. He always kind of looked bow-legged. You're like, wow, that's kind of weird.
It looks like he's riding a horse or something like that, dude, all the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's an absolute beast. It just sucks to be able to see him constantly keep getting injured, and it's so weird how Joey seems to get injured, but Nick doesn't get as injured at all. Like Nick's out there pretty much all the time. Like, what are they doing differently? I mean, generally they work out together too. So, I mean, I feel like
when you watch Bosa play, he plays more like a berserker. You know, he's out there like he's a lot more
Burger.
aggressive. Yeah, and he's like way more aggressive and stuff like that, you know, like, and he's just going after it, you know. It's kind of like a glass cannon, I guess you would call it, you know, like, I mean, in the nerdy MMO terms, you know. Yeah.
Well, and there's a side to where you don't, I can't necessarily say don't go 100% every single time in every play. I mean, you think of Max Crosby. Max Crosby literally is going 1,000 miles per hour every play. Like, and going back to Joey Bosa when he hurt his hand and ended up having a club on his hand for a month in training camp, he was going hard in against the Rams?
Yeah, scrimmage. Like,
you kind of don't need to do that at that time, man. Like, I get it. You want to like test yourself and everything, but like, you don't need to go 1,000 miles per hour. I mean, even Max Crosby with the Raiders in training camp, they kind of sat him out because he's like, hey man, you're going too hard on our guys. Like, this is practice, dude. Like, it's to just get you right and get you ready for the game and get healthy to go into the season and actually do something.
Oh, here we go. So Goomba said this. Here we go. Gus is the hammer and JK is a nail gun. I like that. Okay, there we go. Thank you for the analogy. I appreciate that.
Love it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that kind of works for sure.
That's a drill idea.
Hey, you know, drill's way better. Drill's way better than hammer. Yeah.
We're gonna go back to just calling them a thunder and lightning. All right.
There we go. Thunder. Okay, thunder and lightning.
JK is the lightning.
I'm gonna
okay.
I'm gonna give Goomba 5 points for that though.
Yeah.
Give him 5 points.
Yeah.
Marty Ball once again with the super chat. $4.99, my man. Marty, it's like Marty Ball. We need Marty Ball back.
Yeah, Marty, we need you back, buddy.
Right.
But basically what he says is this team is mentally tougher than we've been in the last 20 years.
I agree.
100% agree. 100% agree. We'll be ready for war next week against the defending champs. Love the channel, man. Thank you so much, Marty. Thank you for the love for the super chat and the love for the channel too. And
that's what's up.
100%, dude. I mean, what Jim Harbaugh has done in 3 games has been phenomenal and much more than any head coach that we've had in the last 20 years. I mean, Marty was basically the man and got that team physically ready and to go. One thing I really, really appreciated watching in this game is the amount of gang tackling this defense was all about.
Yeah.
Physicality, hitting people hard. Like, it feels like old school football. And like, it makes me think all the time, like, why don't other teams play this way? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's like finesse game versus physical. Like, I don't understand it. It makes zero sense to me, but it's great to see. It's great to see a different breed and brand of Chargers football at this point.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and 100%, guys. At the end of the day, this team is built to win. Hey, injuries started hurting, and again, the Steelers got a great defense. I mean, we were taking nothing away from them on our pregame show that we were expecting, you know, a fight. This is going to be a knife fight.
Yeah.
It's gonna be crazy. I mean, it is what it is, right? And
I think it was more of a gunfight, and we brought a knife. You know, you know, like how we ended up with it.
Yeah. First half, we got a couple stabs in. Yeah,
that's right.
Then they ended up just going, "Pow!" Kind of like the meme that we did, but the opposite. You know, where you know, check our Instagram out. There's a video that we made, and makes sense, man.
Yep.
I got another one. Constellation Pegasus.
What's up?
This defense remind you of 1979. It does to me. What's up? We got to get double air horn for that one. Hey, that's a better sound effect. I mean, the air horn's kind of crappy. Keep getting them sound effects there, Kyle. Keep it going. It does to me. Yeah. Hey, you know what? Like, look. The end of the day, 2 really good teams. The unfortunate truth is Herbert got hurt. He was hurt at the beginning of the game. And, you know, Palmer, by the way, a lot of people aren't talking about this. Palmer was out this entire game too. Right. So that's a problem. But this defense, guys, it's nasty. Nasty. You know what I mean? Like a Y at the end, you know, nasty. We did nasty boys. We're good. We're good. So as long as we have a good defense, we don't keep us in games.
And just to throw out what the 1979 San Diego Chargers defense was, they ranked 2nd in the league in yards allowed. So basically they were one of the best in the league. And then they had 8 players combined for 28 interceptions.
Right. Yep.
Linebackers, Woodrow Lowe and Ray Preston getting 5. Wilbur Young led the team with 12 sacks too. So it was like a very, very good, strong defense all around. So, one thing I kind of feel about this whole defense, it reminds me of just straight up old school, just hitting people in the mouth kind of defense. And it's nasty to watch. And I love seeing it. Like, I kind of had no problem watching a defensive game early on in this game. It was fun to watch this Chargers just hitting dudes and smacking them in the mouth. It was awesome. Yeah. So
that's pretty awesome.
I'm all about it.
Yeah. And again,
let me go back to like a comment there. Marty Ball says that we have a really mentally tough team. Actually, the problem is right now though is penalties. We actually, I just looked it up, and on 3 games we have 17 penalties. 7 the first game, 7 this game, but we were better last game. But man, we got to clean up that freaking play style. Like we're making all kinds of mental mistakes in that regard, and all these holding calls, personal fouls, potential pass interference type things. Yeah, obviously it's a little wishy-washy because the refs, it's all subjective to them or whatever. But we need to clean that up for sure.
Well, and I still think some of those penalties are a little ticky-tacky, but
yeah. For sure.
Again, at the end of the day, it is what it is, right? So, unfortunately, that's what we dealt with. And, look, it's week 3, guys. We got a lot of time for this team to get better. We got time for Herbert to get healthy, and everything going. Oh, we got another one. BT, what's up?
That's it. That's it. That's it right there. Yeah.
Yep.
Defensive lack of discipline. Yep. You lack discipline.
Danielson, you lack discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it does come down to coaching, but it really boiled down to that one drive we talked about, that late third quarter drive into the fourth quarter. Like, if
and they got a touchdown on that drive, didn't they? I think they got a. In the chat, did they get a touchdown or field goal off that drive? I thought it was
because it was Austin that ended up getting the touchdown. That was kind of a longer touchdown, wasn't it? And I don't know if that was that same drive or not. I could be completely wrong on that, but
okay, yeah. So in the chat, let us know.
Either which way,
thank you, BT.
Things cannot happen at critical points of the game, and that's kind of really what happened with us. Is that they basically just ended up going and doing 3 terrible penalties that basically put that game away for us. I mean, one stat that I thought was amazing during the broadcast is that they showed that the Steelers had 6 negative yard plays to Chargers 1 negative yard. And I was thinking that could be the reason why the Chargers could win this game. And then that's when everything started propelling to where we ended up starting doing penalties, which pretty much are negative type plays at that point. And so we kind of shot ourselves in the foot. Let's hope this doesn't continue this way.
Well, and this Francisco says it perfectly. Bosa goes down, no problem. Plenty of edge rushers. Herbert, Slater, Alt goes down. We did. I mean, that's our offense, guys. I mean, say what you want to say, but you can't run this. I mean, when the offensive line is predicated on moving bodies, and those 2 guys were the main people moving bodies, right? It's a little rough to win against a good defense, right? So
exactly.
Those injuries are going to be big, guys. So I'm a little stressed out about it. But I know you got some slides here, right, James?
Yeah, I could throw up some slides here. Just kind of, I know we've talked about quite a bit of it too, but this is during the broadcast here. I mean, there was a point where both quarterbacks were cooking. And to be honest, Justin Herbert looked perfectly fine for
he did.
A good amount of time. I was thinking, man, they were probably talking up that injury to his ankle and everything like that. And he was throwing the ball dimes after dimes after dimes and just looking great. And then once again, Cam Hayward, Dirty Bird came in, landed on Herbert's ankle, and then he was hobbling out, and that pretty much ended the game for us at that point. And I will also say Tyler Heineke went in instead of Easton Stick. What does that tell you guys? Easton Stick is not going to be the quarterback 2 at this point. Like, we are moving on from him.
I think we need to make a phone call, and we need to have someone come into the locker room at halftime and do a little.
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing.
Oh,
hey,
man.
You know what? Hey,
are you talking about Herbert's ankle, or are you talking about what you talking about?
anything? You gotta get that hawk tool on those injuries, man. We gotta We gotta make them feel better. You know what I'm saying? Like instantly. Hey.
This is a family show, Kyle. This is a family show. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
right.
I'm just talking about spitting on those injuries and then making them feel better. You know what I'm saying? What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, let's help us out in the chat. Like,
Yeah. What does this mean? I said this a little bit,
bro. I mean, come on now. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah. No, but look, I mean, at the end of the day, Herbert goes down, guys. Look, it's tough. The one thing I will say, Herbert looks like he has held the ball a lot more, and I think part of that is because he doesn't have people open, right? People. What was the statistic last year? I read a statistic that Quentin Johnson was the worst rookie in creating separation last year. Literally one of the worst. Well, I think it was like the top 3 rounds of wide receivers was the class that they were looking at, right? But he had like negative separation. So my point is he's probably holding the ball longer because a lot of these guys aren't getting open.
Sure.
But at this point, it's like, all right, dude, chuck the damn ball, especially if you're hurt, buddy. Get out, get the damn ball out, so don't worry about it.
So go back to Rivers. Rivers would love to be able to just kind of throw the ball kind of to the ground or something, like towards 100%. Somebody to their feet. Like, I kind of hated when Rivers did that, but I understood why he did that. Like, it's because he's just like, hey, man, nothing's there. Realistically, every quarterback should have 3 seconds or less in their head going on. Once that ball snapped in your hand, you better make a decision very, very quickly. Like, I'm sorry, you do not have 4 seconds, 3.2 seconds. You got to get that ball out of your hands and make a decision quick.
Yep.
Like, there is a time where, and once again, when Herbert did injured his ankle last week, or was it last week that he where he ended up getting his ankle injury. I felt like the pocket was so clean that he kind of like was stagnant and he didn't decide to move and make things happen. It's almost like the game speed is a little too much for him at this point. I don't know what it is, and could be just people not getting open too, which it will be interesting to see what DJ Chark brings to this offense, and also Josh Palmer too, which we have not seen enough of too. So great point, Andrew, on the wide receivers just not getting open at this point. So maybe that's really what's happening here and affecting Justin Herbert more than anything.
Well, and I think that's part of the problem is that bottom line, he was look, the wide receiver doesn't get open. All right, throw the ball out. How often have we ever seen Justin Herbert throw the ball, way out of the, end zone or whatever? He doesn't do it very often, but I think he needs to start learning how to do that, be more of a game manager rather than, putting the game on his shoulders. Right. So, I mean, even when he got rolled up on last week versus the Panthers, he was still trying to do too much. He was getting hit. He still tried to throw the ball as he was getting hit. I'm like, dude, just take the sack and protect your body, bro. Like,
right.
Because the defender's still going to play through the whistle, dude. Like, until you're on the ground, they're going to still hit you. Like, anyways, it's easier said than done, guys, as we know.
Big time.
Oh, yeah.
But it is a little shocking, though, as I'm seeing this photo. He doesn't have any knee braces on. He doesn't have anything on there. Like, it's a little weird to me how little protection he has. And I always thought, like, ribs, all this other stuff. I don't know. It always feels like,
I think he had a rib thing like the first game, though. Like, it was more like the stomach guard or something like that,
Yeah.
To kind of protect his midsection a little bit more. But, like, he was riding light this time.
I mean, when they have those rib protectors, they look like they're the Michelin man walking around on the field.
Yes,
dude.
right. Yep.
But I mean, look, you got to find ways to protect his body. I mean, at this point, Justin Herbert's basically, I mean, he's only missed 4 games in his career and he's worked through injuries. I mean, yes, people could say he's injury prone. He is getting injuries, but at the same side, he's still going out there and play. Now, once again, he needs to be effective when he has injuries, and pretty much every player on the field has some sort of injury at this point. And, but he's got to do a better job of getting the ball out of his hands. Like, once again, if he plays against the Chiefs next week, it's going to be a lot of dink and dunks at that point. Get it out of his hand quick and easy. Just get it out there and make it happen. I expect Ladd McConkey to get a lot of reps, which I think Ladd played great in this game, which we'll chat about that. But
yeah. So this is a good question. Miguel says, who's the next man up replacing Alton Slater? Well, let's see, Rashawn Slater was replaced by Pipkins. Pipkins moved over from right guard over to left guard, which I thought was a really strange move. I didn't expect that. I kind of expected Pipkins to stay on the right side, but he didn't.
Yep.
And then who took over for Alt? I didn't see who that was.
I think I heard something about Jamari, but I think he went in guard, and I don't know who went on right tackle. At that point, I was like, well, this game's a wrap.
Yeah,
like,
it was really weird. Yeah, because I'm looking at the depth chart right now, and they got Sawyer as a right guard, and second string. But I'm like, yeah, I think he's probably gonna have to go back to left tackle, because he did that all last year, you know.
Yeah.
So or like the other year, you know, like I don't know, man. Like, but then who's gonna take right tackle? You know, Foster Sherrill. Well, Foster Sherrill is the left tackle backup right now. So he's, I don't know, maybe Sawyer will take right tackle then, you know?
That's probably what it'll be, because that'll probably make sense. Maybe did they, I wonder if they even suited up Foster. That was the other thought, because maybe he wasn't even suited up. So
right. It's possible. Yeah.
Henneke had no chance with our line. Yes. I mean, honestly,
100%,
it was ugly, dude. At that point, it was like, what a wrap, man. You know, it was horrible. So
it was pretty bad to watch.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that we didn't do much more play action. I was a little shocked we didn't do that a little more. I just didn't feel like that happened a whole lot. I don't understand.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Bosa got hurt in the first play. Morris Brash, where's he at? Yeah, exactly. You know, and just to say this, I mean, I think Thule was cooking in this game.
Yeah, he looked good.
Yeah. He was doing good.
I think he was doing great in this game. I mean, some people in the chat talked about just, hey, Thule should play over Bosa. I know maybe it's a numbers game type of situation, an experience thing, but man, I felt like Thule did a great job in this game. I mean, when Bosa is healthy, he's a phenomenal player. It's just the thing is, when he's healthy is the key word of that whole sentence.
Yep.
And so, you know, best available player is a healthy player essentially at this point. And you know, Thule to me is a young guy out there that's hungry, that's making things happen. I think that's the reason why we ended up going to get a Bud Dupree also too, because we know we need to have 3 good edge guys. And, you know, it's kind of a hard thing to really understand if we could keep Bosa out there all the time. Like, I mean, last week there was a sack that we had Bosa, Mac, and Thule on the same line, and we ended up getting a sack again. I mean, it's very effective when all 3 of those guys are out there. It's just... he needs to be out there, guys. And I think Thule will probably get a lot more play time next week. I'd imagine that Bosa is going to be kind of more either hampered with his injury and hopefully not out for next week. So,
you know, I'm rewatching that. Touchdown to who was that? Pickens, number 19. It wasn't Pickens. Yeah.
No, it was to Austin.
Austin, yes. And Gilman almost gets that interception. Almost. It was so weird. He was just a hair away from it. And it's like, oh my God, he could have had him. And again, this is where football is a game of inches, guys. I mean, that's why you just keep doing the same thing over and over again. It is what it is, right? That's part of the, you know, the execute. It's funny when I rewatch a lot of these plays, the execution is like one person, you miss one tackle. This one guy doesn't slow this person down and they're gone, you know, and it's little things. And that's why the details matter. But again, we'll see how this coaching staff is ready for next week, right? Because if Herbert can't go, it's going to be scary, right? But then if that's the case, then I would say, all right, get the ball out real quick. Taylor Henneke is going to have to do Taylor Henneke. They got to be pretty interesting here for him. So
no doubt. I mean,
he starts next week, I'm going to drink some Heineken.
I mean, to me, it's going to all fall back on the defense at this point.
It is.
Like, if the offense has to go out there with Taylor, you know, like, the defense has to find a way to make this thing happen. And you know, like Khalil Mack is kind of an ageless wonder at this point. I mean, the way that he's playing and how effective he's playing, I think Joey Bosa talked about on the Greenlight podcast about how, you know, Bosa will be out there warming up for 30 minutes, dripping sweat and everything. And then Khalil Mack just walks on the field ready to go and outruns Joey Bosa. And he's just a freak of nature. And, you know, he is just a built different dude. And it's just a great picture here just showing Thule crowning, you know, Khalil Mack, who is a Hall of Famer in my opinion. Like that dude is sure a Hall of Famer.
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
He's just an absolute stud. Great example of how to be a player in the league.
Howard's got a good little comment here. Heineke took Washington to the playoffs 2 years ago. I agree.
Yep.
He's very good.
He's good. Yeah.
And again, though, he's been in the system for 3 weeks now, right? So, you got to wonder, how limited he's going to be as far as, plays are concerned. But this is why you went and traded a 6th-round pick to go get him, because you knew Stick wasn't the guy, but you knew at least with Heineke, you could bring him in and he could potentially win you a game when Herbert's out, for this injury, right? Because we know this isn't a season-ending injury for Herbert, but it's going to be, we'll see if he can play next week. Probably not is my take, but because I think when you take him out of the game and he doesn't come back in the game, usually it's pretty bad. So, but let's see what he can do.
See what he could do, man. And one thing I was going to just point out, man, Ladd made some good catches this game.
Yeah,
I think he's done a phenomenal job of really making sure the middle of the field situated, kind of taking that Keenan Allen type role. And then he made a pretty big play on a 3rd and I think 12, I believe it was. Got a nice rip. And so, it's good to be able to see these guys going. And going back to Andrew's point, like these wide receivers need to help Herbert too. He could have all the time in the world, but they got to find a way to get open. And there's a lot of youth on this wide receiving core. So I do kind of expect that this team is going to get better in the wide receiver position, but it also does make me think, what if we really do go trade to get somebody else too? Because once again, if you don't got wide receivers open, your quarterback could be the top quarterback in the league and still getting, tagged, kind of like what Justin Herbert is dealing with right now. So it's an interesting situation, but I shout out to Ladidi McConkey.
Right? Yeah. That's why we're on McConkey. Heineke is mobile, move him around, quick slants, short slants, tight end. I agree. And again, I think our defense is going to be pretty good next week. I mean, granted, we stay healthy, right? Yep. I mean, knock on wood. These injuries keep piling up, but bottom line, I think we could be okay with Mahomes. It's just the defense has got to step up. If we can limit their points and limit their opportunities, we'll be all right. But Heineke needs to. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting week, guys. A lot of good videos coming up for us this week. We'll let you know. We'll keep you both on everything coming out.
Yep. And QJ with that touchdown was awesome. And that little dance that he did. Dude, it was the cornerback straight. It was funny. My wife was sitting there. Marissa was sitting there next to me while that touchdown happened. She was like, why did that guy go down and not follow his man? And I was like, yeah, beats me too. Because he straight bit and went down to the shallow route. And then Fitzpatrick basically was like not even in the screen at all, and he was way off. So safety didn't do his job basically to see the out route by QJ, and it was just a straight up walk-in touchdown essentially at that point. So it was awesome to be able to see that. And QJ once again another touchdown. Shout out to QJ, man. Shout out to QJ.
So breaking news, Herbert's in a walking boot. Is that verified, Carlos?
Man.
Herbert in a walking boot.
One of my concerns would be, what if he re-injured his plantar fasciitis or whatever foot injury, and then the ankle on top of that, right? Yep. So that would be pretty bad. But
it looks like Aether's saying that he told his coach. Whoop, I just had it up there, but he told his coach he couldn't put pressure on his ankle, and coach said, "Come out." And that in the play before he went out, I was like, he looks like he's not trying to touch the ground very hard at all on his right foot. I was like, something's not right immediately at that point. And so
Popper tweeted it, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, I mean Herbert's talking right now actually too. So it's one of those things that that's where it's like, do you play him against the Chiefs next week? And especially if you don't have Slater and Alt. Or either one or no other. Like it could be even worse at that point, guys.
Well, if you do that though, see, I think the one thing I will say, if I do have a gripe against Greg Roman, is with Alt and Rashawn Slater out, that's when you put 2 tight ends out there. You have 2 tight ends, at least chip those 2 edge rushers for
sure.
Just chip, and then they could go out, because that gives a little bit of time, and they could be the dump outs, so if they roll one way, then you can throw to the tight end or maybe a guy on top. But when we were chipping Watt, he got 0 pressures. Like, he did not do well. So, pretty tough.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and the one thing too, going, and I'm sitting here just kind of reading people's tweets about this too.
Yeah.
Steelers defense allows -5 yards in the second half. People talking about Bradley Bozeman on a 1-year deal. They're saying, hey, he's kind of a clear, issue at the center position at this point. And they're saying maybe Hymas or even McFadden being at the center going forward. People just talking about it, like just looking through the social medias of everything through X. Like, there's a lot of things that kind of got to get shifted around at this point, I think. And I don't know what we're going to do at right tackle, left tackle, who we're going to really put out there. But it's kind of a tough situation to kind of watch this. And it sucks it's week 3 that we're dealing with this. But also at the same side, week 5 is a bye week. So it's like, hopefully, I mean, if we could find a miracle to get a win over the Chiefs next week and go 3-1 into the bye week, that would be an absolute win for this team. Absolutely.
Well, and I think that's why they're talking about potentially going out and getting that center from the Panthers.
Possibly.
They think he's like again, you could probably trade a 6th-round pick or maybe a 7th round, maybe 2 7th rounds or whatever, And I'm telling you, like, that would be great because Bozeman has been the biggest problem on that line up to this point. But you could get him in now, see what happens versus the Queefs, and then you got a bye week, get him up and ready to go, and then have Bozeman and him ready to rock and roll and, go from there. But man, you just got to wonder what's going to happen there, man. It's interesting. So,
very much so. And I was just going to throw out the other slide here. Awesome pick. That was kind of the game-changing situation. Tip drill, essentially, which was pretty much happening the entire game, or at least in the offseason, I should say. And it's great to be able to see that happen. When I saw that ball was up, I was like, we're going to make it happen. I will say one other play that was so close was that end of the second half throw, or first half throw to the end zone. I swear we were going to get a touchdown. We had 3 guys like right in that position. And I swear we were going to get a touchdown. And that would have been incredible for this team to be able to go with a pretty much 1-second touchdown.
That would have been awesome.
That would have been incredible. But either which way,
I ain't gonna lie though. I was definitely hoping for a field goal right there because I had the parlay bet on that. So I was like, dang it, because I needed Cameron to get two field goals in order for me to win the parlay. I'm like,
yeah, exactly.
Well, that would have been a great way to plug Sleeper app, Kyle. We could have plugged that and said, if you want to put your parlay bets, check out Sleeper.
Yeah, we do have an affiliate link down below, so you can check it out. Sleeper app, pretty cool.
Yeah, no, check out Sleeper. We're actually using it.
Use the code Bolt Bros to actually get an extra $100 bonus deposit if you 100 for 100. So it'll be pretty awesome.
Pretty dope. Yeah, and it's a great little app too. We've actually been using it for fantasy football and everything too. So it's kind of a cool all-in-one type app all around. So you could bet and basically even do your fantasy teams on there. So pretty cool.
Yeah.
But either which way,
I think
defensively we need to kind of get things rolling more. But next week this might be our guy against the Chiefs. So
might be our guy. Yeah, but you know what? It's not the end of the world. Now, I would say this: you would have to switch things up. One thing I will say, what I wanted to say about Heinicke is that if you remember, I think it was the beginning of the season, it was week 1 when Harbaugh was talking about, we probably should train or have a different type of practice for our backup quarterbacks than our normal quarterback, right? Justin Herbert, because Justin Herbert's a different quarterback compared to Taylor Heinicke and also, Easton Stick.
Yep.
So clearly they're going to be changing the way that they practice because of Heinicke, depending on if he is going to be going, which Herbert being in a walking boot is probably a good example. He's probably not going to play next week. So it will probably be Heinicke. So I'm pretty sure they're going to, really change everything up with him, and it's going to be interesting. So,
And no knock on Taylor by any means. Like, I think Taylor's a very heart-based kind of player, extra effort type of guy. I think he fits extremely well to what like Jim Harbaugh likes. The hard part of it is if you don't got an O-line, your quarterback is nothing at that point. So go ahead and go look at Caleb Williams right now with the Bears. Like, he's getting destroyed right now. 7 sacks last game. What is he at this week? They had, what did they end up doing? 16 points, lost to the Colts 21-16. Let's just see how many sacks they gave up in that one. They ended up giving 4 sacks in that game. Caleb Williams did have a lot more passing yards, 332. But, I mean, he's getting eaten alive behind an O-line, and you can only do so much. And that game, for the longest time, was like 7-3. Like, it was just sitting there doing nothing for him. So, you don't got an O-line, you don't got much.
Yeah, and bottom line, it's we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I think there's a lot to be said about, how this is going to play out. But, we shall see, guys. I mean, these injuries are going to be interesting. And again, this is where the coaching staff has to win and show us, what they're going to do with, what's the contingency plan with these guys going down, right? How are we going to, fix the problems that unfortunately happen because Alt might be hurt, we lose Rashawn or whoever, right? So what's the game plan going to be? I mean, look, it's one thing. I think that's also where I think also Brandon Staley struggled as a head coach is he did not have a backup plan. He never adjusted, never changed, nothing. It was always just the same thing. No, let's just keep going. And at least we're going to try and see something a little different with this coaching staff. So we'll see how it goes. Clearly, we're going to have a lot of videos this week because I'm sure we're going to be getting a lot of news. This team is going to have to make some major moves, major changes. So waiver wire will probably be pretty active. We'll see how it goes. And Miguel just said this too. Greg Roman says he needs to change it up. He's too predictable right now. I think the Steelers also understand our brand of football is what I would argue as well. I do think they knew what we were going to do. And you're right, maybe a little predictable, but I also still feel like we should have done a little more short game type stuff, right? Instead of trying to drive the ball downfield, I think we could have played a little more short, dump passes and things. Anyways, it is what it is. Lots to be said about all that.
And I think in our pregame, we chatted about it and said the X factor player for the Steelers is going to be Patrick Queen. Like, he understands Greg Roman in and out. Like, the thing is, we had a player that's from the Steelers too, which is Bud Dupree. I mean, he should know the Steelers inside and out too and how they work. But, Patrick Queen has seen a lot of Greg Roman, understands Greg Roman, and even made some pretty big tackles kind of early on in the game too. So he understands him quite a bit. I'm sure he basically tipped Mike Tomlin quite a bit about what to expect from Greg Roman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they've played against the other Harbaugh brother like for a long time. Yeah. So it's like there's a long history there. So Yeah.
Pocket one hold, QB middle, open for quick slants. Yeah, sure. I mean, screenplays. Hey, we'll see what they got cooked up for them, right? At the end of the day, they're clearly going to have to adjust to what is going to be out there on the field, right? And again, we all know the Chiefs are a good team, guys. So this is going to be good, right? So, we'll see how it goes, right? I think there's a lot to be said about this. I mean,
emotional damage.
There we go.
This is the time. First emotional damage of the year. First emotional damage of the year.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll put together a couple shorts, guys, after this. But my final thoughts is this is an unfortunate game, right? The loss sucks, but I think the defense played with a lot of heart. I think the defense played fine. I think some of those penalties were a little bit ridiculous. Some of them were, but bottom line, though, I also think that it's unfortunate that our offense had so many major injuries, right? Why couldn't we just get some lower players that don't matter as much type of injuries? But
right.
2 tackles, our starting quarterback. It's a little hard to overcome that, guys, right? So it's going to be interesting. So bottom line, hey, this coaching staff, we're paying them a lot of money to figure this out. I mean, a lot of money, guys. We're paying our coaching staff more than just about any other team in the NFL. And let's see what they can cook to get these guys out on the field and try and get a win versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
Kyle, you want to get your last thoughts?
Well, I mean, it was an unfortunate game. I think I've been thinking about it a lot while we've been talking about it, and I really do think that we kind of basically shot ourselves in the foot with all these injuries. This was more of a testament of our squishiness in the curse of the Chargers, I suppose, than really the Chiefs actually proving that they are the better team. Because obviously, like, it's just yeah, that's what I meant. The steel turds, yeah. So we I don't know, man. Like, I feel like all of our players that got hurt really just need to get rest, man. Like, I mean, I hate to say it, but I think we pretty much just got to fold on next week's game against the Chiefs and be more ready against the Broncos in week 6. Yep, because it's going to be important.
Yeah,
of course. The Broncos. Let's get the name right. Broncos.
Yeah, that's right. Make sure
in the alternate universe of NFL.
Broncos.
So I'm sitting here as my last thoughts. I'm looking at what week 3 and some of the results for first half of the week. So Eagles beat the Saints 15-12. Hear what the Saints were first 2 weeks. They were just killing everybody. Every drive they scored on. They have not made a punt basically this week. Basically, Vikings blew out basically the Texans 34-7. I thought the Vikings were dead in the water as a team.
And they're doing fine.
They're doing great. They're 3-0. The Texans basically got smoked today. Wow. The Broncos beat the Buccaneers 26-7. Like, Bo Nix came out of nowhere again. I mean, I'd be interested to see if it probably threw another 40-something touchdowns. Now, Packers basically had Malik Willis playing today, and they beat the
Malik looked good.
30-14. And by the way, I got a Malik Willis Zebra rookie card available for sale.
He's trying to sell. He's trying to pitch it. They're trying to pitch it. It's Gen Mint, baby. Gen Mint 10. Gen Mint 10.
Gen Mint 10, baby. Let's go. And Packers beat the Titans 30-14. And then you go down towards like the Dolphins. They don't have Tua anymore, right? Like, things shift for a team. If you start looking at that, like, now they're losing right now. Seahawks beginning of the quarter 2, Seahawks beating them 17-3. Pretty sure the Seahawks are going to win and go 3-0. Like, it's once again, this is just third week of the NFL season. Now, there's a lot of things that you could kind of look at it right now and you're like, holy smokes, man, there's a lot of things that we're down on. But you know what? I hate having an early bye week, but I think this is kind of like a perfectly timed bye week. That's going to be coming up after the Chiefs. Now, I hope it's not going to be 2 bye weeks. I would like to be able to see this team try to find a way to beat the Chiefs. And that's where Andrew's point is that we got a coaching staff we pay a whole heck of a lot of money to, and they got to go out there and make it happen. By the way, the Panthers are tied with the Raiders right now at 7-7 going into the kind of beginning of the second quarter. So let's go Panthers. Let's go. Let's make it happen.
Beat them late turds.
A lot of season to still be played, guys. So next week, it's going to be interesting to see how this all pans out this week. Once again, we're going to do a lot of videos this week. I'm sure a lot of motion and movement are going to be happening with this team. So we'll keep you guys updated here on the channel.
Yeah, and guys, again, week 3, the unfortunate truth is these injuries hurts. We got a bunch of boo-boos. We got to lick our wounds, getting that cold plunge,
Our boss style, all clothes.
Let's get some of them roids in our bodies. You know what I mean? We got to make it work. But hey, guys, seriously, thank you so much for tuning in. And hey, we'll see what this coaching staff does. I mean, it's exciting, right? How are we going to adjust? What are we going to do now to change, right? You can't sit back and go, shit, we're screwed. No. You got to figure something out now. How are you going to win next week? How are you going to dismantle the Chiefs? And it's a puzzle, guys, and we're going to throw something at them, and, we'll go from there. I mean, a lot of people said, hey, just blitz the hell out of Mahomes. Put Kermit the Frog on the ground. You know what I mean? All this stuff, right? It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Long seat ahead of us, guys. Bolt up. We'll be good to go. So, all righty, guys. We're the Bolt Bros. See you guys in the next one.
All right, Bolt Bros. Let's go.
Hey, what's up? Cameron Dick here watching Bolt Bros podcast. Let's go.
Touchdown!